It's time again for another installment of the basics, and after all those recent shows on the Star Trek card game, we're going back to Magic the Gathering, where I'm going to talk about creatures, their attributes, and their cost when you're playing the game. And as I'm about to show you, I'm going to use my black deck and the creatures from it as an example. So let's do it. Creatures are the most important things in your deck next to mana, because these are what are going to be going out on the playing field between you and your opponent, trying to get through his lines of defense and take down his life in an attempt to win the game. Now, because of the amount of mana that you're going to have in your deck, as I mentioned on a previous show, the cost to play a lot of these creatures is very important to keep in mind. You start off with less powerful creatures, as low as like a 1/1, so that's 1 attack, 1 defense. But they only cost 1 mana to get out. So you can cast these very quickly and get them out on the battlefield. If you can do so before your opponent, you might actually score some early points like that in terms of his life. As you work your way up into more powerful creatures, like this 1/3, you can see the costs are a lot higher. 2 plus 2, that's a 4 cost in mana to get it out. This is a 3/2 creature that also costs 4 mana. You start getting into some of the really powerful creatures, so we're talking 4/4 and above, like these 2 5/5 creatures, Dripping Dead and Masked Gorgon. Great cards to put in a deck, but now you're getting into costs of 5, 6, and some even go beyond. I have some cards in my green deck that have, and blue deck actually, that have costs as high as 7 and 8 to bring out. So unless you're doing really well in the game and or have a ton of mana that you're able to get out, you don't want to fill your deck with too many massively powerful creatures, because in the time it takes you to get them out, you might have already lost the game. I always like to start off with some simple 1/1 and 1/2 creatures to get them out quickly with their low cost. And then, mana providing, of course, I start getting out the heavier stuff onto the battlefield. It's very important that you plan this when you're building your deck. You want to have the right amounts and the right strengths of creatures that you can get out quickly and start working away at your opponent's life. It's very simple. As I have been playing CCGs and Magic the Gathering for quite some time, I have played with a lot of different people, most of them house games and the odd tournament, and I've seen a lot of people put too many high-powered creatures into their decks and are unable to get them out, even with the amount of mana they have. You don't want to waste time building a deck that relies on so many power creatures. Like I mentioned earlier in the episode, use the smaller creatures first. Get your 1/1s and your 2/2s out. They can do a lot for you right off the bat, even more so than some of those high-powered creatures. So don't waste time stacking a deck with something you'll never get out. Start small. Anybody that plays in a tournament will tell you that. I'll have more about this on a future episode. Until then, that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.